This is something you all should try at home. Let's say you have leftover rice from a couple of days, or you have bread that is started to mold. Instead of throwing it in the dustbin, try this. Take a waste plate, put the food on it, and leave it in the backyard. Now, assuming that it's a nice sunny day, what will happen is the birds will come and eat the food. So just sit there and watch the drama going on. The funny thing with the birds is that there is a certain pecking order. The big birds will come and eat first, and then the small birds, and then the baby birds, and then a squirrel or a rabbit could come and steal some food in between. Now, all this is going on. Personally, what it does to me is I sometimes end up laughing, and most of the times, for those few minutes at least, I forget my own problems. You should try it. Hello friends, welcome to my video and a very happy new year to you all. So what motivates me? Pursuing my dreams and hobbies is what keeps me motivated. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two very distinct examples and elaborate on each of them. So the first one that motivates me is traveling to new places. So when I say traveling to new places, I mean for a longer duration, around 2 weeks. And what it means is you go to a place where you have not been before, and try to explore the place, do sightseeing, meet the locals and understand the culture and the food, and just live the place, feel the environment, right? So I try to do these trips once every 2 years. So for instance, like in 2018, last year, summer, we were 6 people that did Ladakh, and it was a fabulous trip. And back in 2016, 5 of us did a trip to Africa. It was for 2 weeks, and then we did 4 countries in Africa and had a fantastic time. So at that rate, I'm thinking we'll have another trip in 2020. I don't know the details yet, which place and all that. So once I know that, I'll start sharing more details. Maybe towards the end of this year, I'll share the details in this group also. So hopefully, some of you can join the trip. I would love to have you guys on this trip. So stay tuned. Alright, so the second example of what motivates me has to do with a lifestyle change. So it's one of those things where you consciously make a lifestyle change by putting something in practice, a subtle change that you want to put in practice until it becomes a habit. And once it becomes a habit, it brings about more positive changes in your life. So something similar happened to me, and I'm going to share that story. So a few years back, I was feeling really bad whenever I had to throw the food waste in the trash can. So it was as if my consciousness was telling me, hey, you can do something better than this. So I guess the origin for all this was, I remember back in school days, I think in one of the science textbooks, I learned about composting. And I didn't forget it. It somehow stayed in the back of my head ever since. So that's what exactly my consciousness was telling me. Hey, instead of throwing the food in the dustbin, you can do composting. So anyway, so one fine day I decided to start composting. So it was in 2013 fall, and what I did was in the backyard I put a wired fence and started collecting the fall leaves in that, and started adding food waste in that. So the thing with leaves is that it keeps the whole process stink free, and it also helps break down the food, decompose it much better. So you can put any kind of food waste, leftover rice or dal or banana peels or pizza box or newspapers, anything that decomposes can go in there. Now, I kind of put it in practice until it became a habit, uh, and I do it every year. So at the end of 2014 fall, 2014 summer, and the fall leaves started falling. It was 1 year from that point. I had a rich compost, so I moved that aside and started collecting the new leaves again. So I do this process every year until date. I do it, and now to that extent, I started feeling great because my consciousness wasn't bugging me anymore because I started disposing of the food waste in a very responsible and eco-friendly manner. So the big question now is what do I do with the compost, right? So even if I do nothing with the compost pile, it's okay because it's eco-friendly and it's not hurting anything. If I just leave it there, it's going to mix with the soil and nothing happens, nothing bad happens. Or I could start using the compost, right? So this is where the one thing leads to the other comes into play. So I started doing vegetable garden using this compost, and I was getting bumper crop like tomatoes and garlic, beetroot and bangan and mirchi, everything. So much that I started exchanging the veggies with my neighbors. Whatever they grow, I take, and whatever I grow, I give it to them. Um, so that was one more added thing. I started connecting with my neighbors really well after I started all this. Before that, it was just hi bye, saying hi and bye. And after I started all this, we talk more, we connect, and we exchange ideas, and then they start following the things that I'm doing. So it's great relation I have with them. So anyway, coming back, the following year, I have more compost, and even after using it for the vegetable garden. So what I did was take the compost and sprinkle it in my lawn. And I tell you guys, this is the best fertilizer you can put in your lawn. It has all kinds of nutrients that the plants need. Also, in the intro to the video, I shared a bit about the birds, right? My backyard has a lot of birds. I planted some bird-friendly trees like arborvitae where they can nest in the winters. So the one great thing that the birds do is they eat the pests and the bugs in the lawn. They keep it clean. So if you think about it, I don't have to buy fertilizers or pesticides or any chemical fertilizers, right? So I stopped using the lawn maintenance company. And I tell you guys, I did not spend a dime on my lawn maintenance in the last 4 years. So pretty much, it's not that I'm doing a lot of work in the lawn. The sprinkling the compost is like once a year. That's all I do, and the birds are doing their part. The earthworms and all the bacteria in the compost pile is helping it to turn and break down. And in the beginning of the spring, I plant the vegetable plants, and that's all. I mean, they do great after that. I don't have to care much about them. So all I do is when I come back from work, I go take a walk in the lawn for 10 minutes, and I feel refreshed. Any stress levels just drain out of my system. Any negative energy just evaporates, and I come back home nice and fresh. So there's so many things I got, the little change that I did composting that brought in so many other positive changes in my life. So in a way that I discovered a new lifestyle. And I had to say that I not only discovered a new lifestyle, but I kind of discovered myself in this whole process. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.